A former Prince Albert city councillor is fighting for his life and also fighting the Saskatchewan Health Authority over parking fees. Premier Scott Moe shuffled his cabinet, which the opposition calls, quote, shuffling chairs on the Titanic. And looking ahead to 2026, what is the provincial government resolving to do in the new year? Well, for their take on all of this, the 306 Public Affairs panel is back one final time before the holidays. Jack Saddleback is a professional speaker in Saskatoon. Dale Richardson, principal at Earnscliffe Strategies in Regina. Good afternoon, Dale.
Hello.
And hello, Jack.
Hi, Dante.
Jack, I was just asking Dale if you made it in safely okay. Things are not too bad on the roads in Saskatoon?
Oh, not too bad. You just got to pack your snowshoes and you're good to go.
All right. Well,
I thought it was the cross-country skis you were telling us.
Oh, that's right. Yeah.
No? I look like a Bambi on ice on those ones, so I switched to our vintage snowshoes.
Love that.
Look, guys, I mean, it's somewhat relevant to our first story because in weather like this, I mean, parking is a major issue no matter where you are. Add on the fact that you're a cancer patient, and I can't imagine what that would feel like. Former PA City Councillor Dennis Ogrodnik is fighting for free parking for all cancer patients. The Canadian Cancer Society says patients pay anywhere from $300 to $900 per month in parking while getting treatment. Ogrodnik says he's paying $2,000 per month because he has to drive to Saskatoon for his care. Jack, is this a worthwhile fight?
In my own personal opinion, I think this is a worthwhile fight for us to look at, especially within our province, which has birthed universal health care. It's unfortunate that we're putting such an onus on individuals who are dealing with severe health issues, and not just necessarily looking at cancer patients, but also looking at other patients that are having to deal with life-altering situations that put them in these spaces and in the healthcare system, needless to say, I'm a little disappointed that the parking fiasco is simply exacerbating or making it worse for people who are, yes, dealing with health issues, but also dealing with, experiences of this financial implication. Like $2,000, that is a lot of money to have to go through on top of figuring out your own health care and your support system.
Dale, thoughts?
I think all likely sympathetic to this gentleman's situation. Yeah, I mean, Jack said $2,000 in parking fees. It's a ton of money. I think politically, it would make a lot of sense to change the rules to scrap parking fees. I think in reality, though, I think it's more complicated, and here's why. First of all, not every healthcare facility in the province has parking facilities where they charge fees. I mean, that's one thing. Some people might say, well, if some don't charge anything, just make them all like that. Which, okay, that's a fair argument to make. But the other thing I would say is, if it's going to be free for cancer patients, or let's say all patients, how do you distinguish between who is a patient coming to a hospital for treatment and who is staff? What are the doctors or the nurses unions going to be saying about these things? I don't think there's any argument that healthcare employees maybe shouldn't pay parking fees, but the reality is if you're going to make it free for somebody, then you have to make it free for everybody. What about people working at facilities that might not be employees? They're doing contract work or something like that. What about in Saskatoon, where the U of S campus is right next door to the hospital? Lots of students park at those facilities. When I went to school there, I definitely did that because parking's at a premium. So I think at face value, yeah, very sympathetic to this gentleman and others. I think administratively it's a little more complicated, unfortunately.
Yeah, no, and I was thinking all those things too. It is a complicated process. I wonder, Dale, if we could just say, as a province, cancer patients going to, our SHA cancer facilities, is there a way to give them free parking, or would it have to be, like you said, all hospital patients, visitors? Would it have to be kind of all or nothing, do you think?
Yeah, it would have to be all or nothing, right? Because, Jack said we are in the province that, first Medicare you can't give preferential treatment to a certain type of patients and not the other. Maybe, and I was thinking a little bit about this. Maybe there is something to capping parking fees. In this gentleman's case, he's going there seemingly quite a lot. $2,000 for parking fees. Maybe it's capped annually. Like if you are a very high user of the healthcare system and you were going to a certain facility weekly or even a couple times a month, maybe you cap out at 500. Like I don't know what the number is, but again, I think administratively that would be difficult. How do you figure that out? Do you give out certain cards when you beep into a parking lot and knows, okay, you're maxed out, you don't need to pay anymore? So I think it's challenging.
Well, and Jack, I was, again, weighing all of those possibilities myself and thinking, how would this actually work? Well, several provinces have moved to reduce or eliminate entirely parking fees. Earlier this year, Nova Scotia made hospital parking free for all patients, visitors, and staff. Do you think that's what Saskatchewan should do?
I think when we look at population comparisons with Nova Scotia, we are kind of neck and neck when in that regard. However, one factor that this councilman had brought up was the fact of gas costs. And in comparison to Nova Scotia, they're a little smaller in land size, and we're a little larger in land size. So quite often these folks are having to travel long distances to be able to get the healthcare that they need. I am definitely a supporter of being able to reduce costs wherever we can when it comes to healthcare. And I do believe that the province is currently looking at what can be done when it comes to parking fees, because it's an unfortunate thing that bubbled up to the top here that was just kind of off of everyone's mind, because many of us aren't necessarily having to deal with these issues, knock on wood. And those individuals that are having to deal with these issues of parking fees and cancer treatments or medical treatments, they're just focused on survival. I think we can look at other areas that could give us some insights about cost sharing. And I look at the NIHB, or non-insured health benefits, and some of our First Nations that are able to have great health authorities or other departments that deal with healthcare to be able to ensure that these community members are well looked after. And how can we extend that to all citizens in our province?
Well, obviously healthcare and these kind of issues related to it are a major priority for most Saskatchewanians. And I want to carry that over to the cabinet shuffle. And Jack, I'll start with you. The Minister of Health, Jeremy Cockrell, and Minister of Mental Health and Addiction, Seniors and Rural and Remote Health, Laurie Carr, both remaining in their positions. The opposition says that means Premier Moe must be satisfied with their work on what it describes as a, quote, crumbling healthcare system. Jack, what do you make? Do you think that signals that they're staying in those positions?
Well, first off, I think I speak for many of us in this province that we are frustrated with the healthcare system. We're seeing long wait times. We're seeing people getting care within hallways. We're seeing, the inability for people who want to access healthcare or specialized healthcare being unable to do so and having to go through a private route. And this is a large frustration for many of us. When we look at the cabinet ministers that are staying within these portfolios, I'm going to be yes and no here. Yes, there's maybe the support for these individuals, because in my personal opinion, being able to be in these portfolios, especially such complex portfolios, you really need to get your feet super wet and be in the mud, because these are complex issues. We're having to deal with staffing, the public persona and so on and so forth. But anyway, on the other hand, I do say no, that there is dissatisfaction because things necessarily don't seem to be changing in a public perception, and folks are getting and continue to be frustrated with what's going on. So I'm kind of stuck in the middle when it comes to an answer around that.
Dale, I really want to know about your thoughts on the newcomers, but any thoughts on those two ministers sticking in their roles?
A couple points. Jack is totally right that particularly in the health files, it is such a complex, large portfolio, like really, really challenging issues that you need to be in the file to understand it, to try and work your way through it, to recommend new policies and new plans for the system. typically, until just in the last couple of years, health ministers in this province, they were in the health file for at least 4 years.
That's what I was thinking, yeah.
So that's one thing. The second thing is, if the Premier had shuffled the two health ministers out, the NDP would have had the same spin. They would have crowed,
Sure.
and they would have said, "Look, this is an example that the health system in this province is terrible, and he's booting these ministers out for their failures." So I mean, that's politics. The NDP, they're gonna do that. No, it's as I said, the health file is super, super challenging, more than ever. There was polling out today, and it's not good news for anybody, but there was polling out today from Angus Reid that said that every province thinks that their healthcare system sucks. I don't think that any of the provinces were under 70% saying that they were not happy with the state of healthcare. So maybe the highest was 65% disapproval in the healthcare system. So it's tough. It's really challenging. I think people appreciate that, but at the same time, I mean, it doesn't take away from the frustrations and the concerns that people have. So as long as the government is communicating, trying to say we are working on these things, we are trying to make improvements. We know that progress is slow. I mean, at some points that's all that you can do.
Jack, on the flip side, was the removal of Tim McLeod from public safety a response to his handling of the wildfires, do you think?
I think when we're looking at the handling of the wildfires, we needed leadership at that time in our province, and unfortunately, the folks of the north simply got a sympathy card. Terribly sorry we couldn't be there in the mail until earlier this year, where Denair Beach, even the mayor, I believe, was surprised that they got a visit from leadership in our province. And I think when we look at McLeod and the wildfire fiasco and the lack of the audit that could take place, I think there's a little bit of a signal there. With that said, as we look into the new year, and we'll be discussing this in a little bit here, the wildfires, the worst of the worst had happened. As we go forward, that old brush has already gone off, but as we're seeing the movement in this cabinet, it's not about the wildfires. I think we have to look at the larger picture here, and the larger picture is that we're having this upcoming forced addiction treatment that will be happening. So I think that's one of the factors that we have to consider when we're looking at the shuffle and the removal of public safety into this new community safety portfolio, which I am very curious about, and how that is going to translate into these policies and legislations that are coming down the line.
Dale, you're like our hockey scout for politics, so I do want to ask, you're going to be today, I really want to ask you about the new faces coming in, because they're not household names. Just anything stood out to you from the first-time cabinet members?
Sean Wilson, who's the MLA for, Ken Kravetz's old seat up by Yorkton, Kenora Pelly.
There you go.
Oh, sorry, Ken and Sean. He's been a great MLA. He is probably, I don't want to say that certain MLAs work more than others. He has really put in the work in this last year. He has traveled pretty much all over the province, going to events and representing the government. He's the new Sask Builds minister. He's fantastic. Michael Uyghur, who is the new community safety minister that Jack was just speaking about. It's a significant portfolio. There's a lot of items in that file, like addictions, is sort of the policing element and community safety of that is important, not just to the government, to the people in this province. So those two definitely stand out to me. Chris Beaudry, he's also a new minister who I've gotten to know pretty well in the last year, and I like him. So I think it's great to have new people coming into cabinet. Well,
it's going to be a new part of the cabinet, at least going into the new year. Jack, what do you think the government needs to accomplish next year?
There are a number of things that I was kind of looking at here. As we've come to understand, international politics has affected our province more ways than we have wanted within this past year. So I'm looking at trade expansion. I'm looking specifically at this healthcare aspect. I'm really glad that we were able to talk about one factor, which seems to be the parking fees, but there's a much larger complex nature of this healthcare conundrum that we're all having to deal with. The wildfires, as I was alluding to before, are a little bit low, but we are starting to look at climate change and various effects of the environment that will happen, which brings me to my last point of energy and resources. I think with this shuffle that we're going to be seeing something kind of transpire over this next little year as we take into account the international politics, as we take into account now Prime Minister Carney's view on building Canada as an energy powerhouse. What does that look like for our province? Well, we're about to see over this next 12 months, and I'm certainly excited to hear how the province of Saskatchewan is going to be able to deal with that and how our opposition NDP is going to hold them to account.
Dale, if the provincial government's making some resolutions or a list of goals, what do you think's at the top?
I'm going to come back to something I talked about maybe the last time I was on the show about how in Canada as a whole, but particularly in this province, we seem to have transitioned from wartime under Justin Trudeau, where he was attacking our province every day, to now peacetime. I think the government and everybody in this province needs to adjust to that fully. Because it's a whole different outlook into how the government operates. And to that end, I would also say that the Sask Party folks in particular, I think this year they really need to understand what it is going to take for them to win the next election, which is 3 years away still, but that'll come up fast. So really do solid opinion research to understand, particularly people in Regina and Saskatoon, what are people in the cities looking for and wanting from their government so that they might think about voting Sask Party again, which many people did not in the last election. So really resolving to undertake that work, to listen, and maybe the results that they hear back is that, we need you to do more things like healthcare and education, community safety, but maybe repealing certain things or things that have been said, in the last number of years that really turn people off in the cities. So mending fences, I'm kind of thinking of this as that's what I would be thinking about.
Dale, Jack, we're always it's always great to have you on. This time of year is where we really do make those resolutions, look forward, try to think of a better future. But we are sad to say that this is Dale's final panel for a few months. But before you leave, Dale, we wanted to send you off with a proper tribute.
I will remember you.
Hello, Dale.
Hello.
Good afternoon, Dale.
Hello.
Hey, Dale.
Hello, Peter.
And hello, Dale.
Hello, Peter.
And hello, Dale.
Hey.
Good afternoon, Dale.
Good day.
And hello, Jack.
Hey, Todd, say.
I don't know why the good day threw me off for some reason.
It's just trying to mix it up a little bit for
I
you,
like
Peter.
It's very formal. Very formal.
Remember the good times that we had.
But let me tell you, I am really happy to be back doing this. I love the new show name. The good news is it's same host, same Peter, which I'm sure Jack agrees. I don't think people think that they hate each other. My mic was on. Who's against this?
I will remember you.
Oh, my mic was off there. Sorry about that. I don't like the idea of renaming towns, cities, anything. That is very peculiar. If I was in high school when these were made available, Peter, I might be working at Synovus instead of talking to you here like some sort of political idiot.
I just realized it's almost the end of November because Dale Richardson is sporting a beautiful mustache right now.
We have very nice fall sweaters on. So
but nobody told me, and so I didn't bring my fall sweater.
Do we have a lot of time left? Because I could talk about this for quite a long time.
I could give you 3 minutes.
It's okay, Peter. I'm just being funny.
We'll have to leave it at that. Dale, I will send you all the calls and emails we get.
Oh, yeah, please. Can't wait to listen.
Dale, thank you so much.
Thank you.
And thank you, Dale.
Thank you, Peter.
Dale, thank you so much for coming back. Can't wait to do this the next few weeks.
Thanks, man.
Great conversation this week. I loved it. Thank you.
Oh, thank you for saying that, Peter. Yeah, great.
I will remember you.
It sounds like I'm about to die, but that was a beautiful, beautiful tribute. I'm not sure who did the edit. That was terrific.
Right here, bud. Right here.
You did it? Thank you.
A lot of love, Dale.
Wow, thank you very much. I'm not dying, by the way.
I know, and you will be back someday.
Okay.
You will be back. I hope you have an amazing time with your family. Enjoy it. And Jack, we also love you too. Thank you so much for doing this all year, and we'll talk in the new year.
Yeah, we'll miss you, Dale.
Thank you very much.